Hello, everyone. It's Miss Nan, your Learning Center Specialist, and we are going to continue reading The Skeleton Man by Joseph Bruchac. Hopefully, you are really enjoying it. It's getting to the nitty gritty, deep, dark, creepy kind of chapters here. And let's see what our heroine, Molly, is up to. Um, yeah, on chapter 10, where we left off, Molly came home from school, and her husband, her creepy uncle, is not in his office or in the house, but she realizes and sees his office door is open, the lights on, he's not in there. So she takes a sneak peek into his office and sees that the creepy uncle is even creepier because he has cameras on all the doors in their house, including her bedroom door and the tool shed. She notices that the tool shed out the window, the light and door is on and the door is open. So she knows her uncle is home. So she bolts upstairs into her bedroom, um, and just in time because the uncle comes in screaming, looking for her. She tells him she doesn't feel well, she's going to bed, and he eventually comes in and again locks her in because remember, he put the lock back on the door so he can lock her inside of her room. As Molly is there and after she saw the camera, she realized that she realizes that for sure he's definitely not her uncle. Her gut feeling is right, and so she thinks about the traditions and stories of her ancestors, the stories that her parents told her, uh, being a Mohawk, and her dad always considered her a warrior, and to listen to her dreams. So Molly is anxious now to sleep, whereas before she was always afraid. So she can hopefully listen to her dreams to help. She's hoping that they help her know what to do and how to outsmart her uncle, so-called uncle, like as if playing a chess game. So she's trying to figure out some strategies to use to defeat him and escape from him. So here we go, chapter 11. It's called Running. Here we go. As I hide under the covers, I feel as if I'm never going to go to sleep. Um, the thought that eyes might be watching me, that a camera might be looking down from overhead, makes me as tense as a guitar string about to be plucked. I close my eyes tight against that thought and I clench my fists. I'm not just scared, I'm also angry and frustrated. How am I ever going to fall asleep? Suddenly, the covers are whisked away from me. I jump up with a yell. I'm ready to resist however I can. I'll kick, I'll bite and scratch. Even though my so-called uncle is bigger than I am, I won't give up without a fight. I blink my eyes, trying to bring the shadowy world into focus, step back with my hands still held up, and I bump into something big and hard and rough. I spin around and find myself face to face with the trunk of a giant tree. A tree? How did a tree get into the room? And for that matter, where has the room gone? Little sister, says a voice from behind me. It's not a human voice, yet it's still a voice I welcome. I know who it is even before I turn around. And as I do, I realize that I am back in deerskin clothing with moccasins made of thick moose hide. Little sister, the rabbit says again. This time it sounds as impatient as a parent trying to get the wandering attention of a child. Yes, I say. You must keep running, the rabbit says. It points with its left paw toward the direction that I somehow know to be the direction of the sunrise. Those who seek to devour you is close on our trail. Follow me. The rabbit begins to run, and I follow him close behind. I've only taken a few steps when a scream splits the night. Oh, it is so terrible and so close that I stumble. But I don't fall. I just run harder. The rabbit is leading me through the dark forest. There's just enough light from the moon, her face like that of a grandmother trying to help her little ones see their way. She isn't just lighting our way, though. I can hear heavy feet thudding behind us. We run and we run. We run through a glade of great pine and cedar trees and down a hill into a ravine thick with bush. We forced our way through tangles of saplings and blackberry bushes. We leap over fallen logs, splash through a swamp thick with ferns, climb one hill and then another. How long we run, I don't know. I seem to be able to run without getting winded as I would when the waking world. But we are not getting away. The heavy feet keep thudding behind us. Then I begin to hear something else. It's water. The rabbit leads me headlong down a trail that looks familiar to me. I've been in this place before, but not in my dreams, but in the waking world. I can tell by the giant stones that and the lake that glitters in the valley off to our right in the shape of the land. It's the park where my father and mother used to take me sometimes on picnics. It's only about 2 miles from the house of my so-called uncle. But things are different. In the waking world, there are roads and sidewalks and benches. Here, there are still only tall trees and a deer trail. Still, I know where we're going, toward the river just above the big waterfall. Moonlight gleams on the river just ahead of us as we begin to scramble down a steep slope. The river is high, higher than I've ever seen it before, but the swinging suspension bridge that I've always loved, the bridge I've crossed so many times, isn't there. Of course it's not there, a voice says inside me. This is long ago, even if it isn't far away. But if there's no bridge, how are we going to cross the river? Right, we're right on the bank now, and the rabbit stops. It stands up to its full height, looking one way and then the other, as if confused. Did it expect a bridge here too? What kind of guide is this rabbit anyhow? What can we I start to say, but I don't finish my question. The howl that rips apart the night air is so loud, so full of hunger, that it makes me spin around and fall to one knee. The creature is there, on top of the slope above us. He's no more than 100 yards away from us, and the light of the moon that shone so gently on me is stark and hard in the way it lights up the creature that looms here above me. He's taller than a taller man. He wears tattered buckskin clothing that hangs from him in shreds. But he has no need of the clothing to warm his flesh, for whatever flesh he had was once is now gone. Shiny white bones can be seen through the rips of his buckskin shirt, and his head is a glistening skull. But even though he's a skeleton, he has eyes. His eyes are green and burn like strange flames, and there's a darkness about his teeth that I'm sure is dried blood. The creature turns his head as if sniffing the air. Then he stares down towards us and he opens his mouth in a wide grin. He raises his arm and points down toward us. Correction, toward me. For when I look around for my guide, I realize that the rabbit has disappeared. My niece, the skeleton man cries, in a voice that is both a scream and a whisper. I'm coming for you. That sounds scary. I'm ready. I'm more than ready to wake up now. Number 12. Across the log. As the skeleton man starts down the hill toward me, he seems to have a hard time keeping his balance on the steep slope. Waving his long arms, he begins to slide. His bony feet are too slippery. He begins to fall, and then, crashing through the brush and fallen limbs, he rolls right past me and splashes into the river. We have to keep running, says a voice next to me. I look down. It's the rabbit. Where are you? I ask. I'm really upset that it deserted me. I knew the creature would fall, the rabbit says. That is why I took us down this trail. But he has not been killed. He will climb out of the river again and follow us. Hurry, hurry, hurry. I have to find the place where he can get across. Where we can get across. The rabbit starts up a trail I hadn't noticed before. We climb higher and higher. A roaring sound is getting louder and louder. Then I realize what I'm hearing, and I know where we are. We're going up toward the top of the falls where the river is narrower. There's another bridge there in my time, a one that a road goes over. But will that be there now? I'm panting hard when we reach the top of the steep trail. Oh no, I say. I see we have to cross. Oh yes, said the rabbit. Oh yes, oh yes. I look hard at the rabbit, for it sounds as if it's making fun of me. But all it does is keep pointing its paw toward the place where we must go. There's nothing more than a dead tree that's fallen across the river over the falls. Even though the tree was tall enough to reach the other side, the trunk isn't that thick. Going to cross is going to be walking like walking on a tightrope. The moonlight glistens on the white foam of the water striking the rocks far below. It's a long way down. I've heard that when you fall in a dream, you always wake up before you hit the bottom. I don't want to find out if this is true. I've also had a feeling that this dream isn't just any dream. And if I get hurt in this dream, I don't think it won't be just a scary memory when I wake up. If I wake up. I want to protest again, but there's no time. The rabbit is already halfway across, and I know that I have to follow. I've never been afraid of heights. After all, I am the daughter of a Mohawk man who worked on the high iron before he went into the banking business and met my mom. My dad and other Mohawks like him built places like the World Trade Towers. But even though I'm not usually afraid of heights, I've never done anything like this before. Maybe I think I could crawl across? I stand there, not ready to even put one foot on the trunk. The scream is now so close that I am on the log before I have time to decide whether to go over it upright or on my stomach with my legs wrapped around it. I don't walk across, I run. Maybe it's foolish to turn around to look, but when I do, I see it's almost too slow. Maybe it's foolish to turn around to look, but when I do, I see I was almost too slow. Skeleton Man is there, standing on the other bank, one bony foot already on the log. He holds out his arms, pointing at me. My niece, he whispers. I'm coming for you. The rabbit nudges my leg with its paw. Don't run now, the rabbit says. Wait. Skeleton Man is coming across the log now, taking one step at a time, his eyes boring into mine. I feel as if I'm hypnotized, but I can't let that happen. I know what I have to do. Another step, and I still wait. Another step, and another. And now he's in the middle. I tear my eyes away from him, go down on one knee, and push the end of the log as hard as I can. No, no, no. The skeleton man howls, but he is too late. The end of the log slips off the bank into the water, twists as the current catches it, and then goes tumbling over the falls, carrying Skeleton Man with it toward the sharp rocks below. I open my eyes before he hits the bottom. It was all a dream. The whole thing. I'm safe in my bed, and it's morning, and I feel great. It was just a dream. I can see a crack of light coming in through the closed curtains. I jump out of bed and throw open the curtain, certain that I'll see my mom's autumn flower bed with its bird baths and feeders, and my old swing set, and the little willow tree Dad and I planted. But the morning sunlight doesn't show me that at all. My heart sinks again as I see below my dreary backyard where nothing wants to grow, and the tall, bent-shouldered shape of my uncle walking toward his tool shed. I step back from the window before he can catch a glimpse of me, and I sit down on the floor. Nothing has changed. I get up and I go into the small bathroom. I try not to even think about the possibility of another camera in there, but just in case, I keep a big towel wrapped around me as I wash up and I get dressed. Chapter 13. Oh, there we go. It's entitled Tomorrow. As I walk into Mrs. Chavis's classroom, she gives me a very big smile and mouths the words, "We'll talk later. We'll talk later." I nod to her and smile. The door to my room was unlocked this morning after all, just like every other morning. Breakfast was waiting for me on the table. a blue bowl with cornflakes in it, a glass of milk, and a small glass of orange juice, all so neatly laid out that it looked like something in one of those old situation comedies about happy families that they rerun on cable, except no mother or father. My so called uncle was nowhere to be seen. I sat down just like a normal kid. Then I looked around in every direction and shoved all of the food into my backpack. And now I'm safe in school. Everything is like it always is in here. The only thing different is the workmen. They're sloppy, leaving their tools all over the place. And here I am in my own classroom, a place so safe feeling that it is unreal to me. I look around, blinking my eyes to make sure I'm not imagining it. Will Miss Chavis believe me when I tell her about seeing those television monitors? Or about the camera that I think may be hidden in the light fixture? Will that make me sound ultra paranoid or what? I don't know. I know she's on my side and I want to tell her. But then I also know that what the rabbit told me in my dream about my parents being buried and that I have to save them. If I tell Miss Chavis about the cameras, she'll take me away and then I won't be able to save them. Somehow I feel I have to do this all by myself. Today, Miss Chavis doesn't forget to sing. It's that song about Annie that I sang myself to sleep with. Tomorrow, she'll look right at me as if, blah, blah, blah. Tomorrow, she looks right at me as she sings about how it's going to be better on the day after this one. I know she's telling me that because she still is on my side and that I have to buck up, keep a stiff upper lip, and not give up the ship. She loves songs and stories that have upbeat endings. Mention the Titanic to most people and they think of a tragic love story. Mention it to Miss Shabbos and she'll start belting out something from the unsinkable Molly Brown. Molly, just like me, except I'm not named for some survivor of a shipwreck. I'm named after Molly, after I'm named Molly after Molly Bryant, a Mohawk warrior woman from the 18th century. Back during the American Revolution, my mom told me, one word from Molly Brant went farther than 1,000 words from any white man. No one ever got the best of Molly Brant. For some weird reason, Miss Shabbos and her up with people singing helps me. Corny but sincere is her style, and it's just what I need this morning. I want to get out of my seat and walk up to her and hug her as she's singing. Instead, I just give her a thumbs up sign when she's done. She winks at me. But when the time comes for us to talk, I still don't tell her anything. I need her to be on my side, and I'm too scared she won't believe me. Nothing new, I say, which is true. It's just that now I know that my so called uncle has been keeping watch on me through a camera lens. Will you be okay over the weekend, honey? The weekend starts tonight. Every kid in America but me is looking forward to the weekend. I have a feeling whatever awful thing he has in store for me is going to happen tomorrow. I swallow hard to make myself smile. I'll be fine, I say. Should I come over and check in on you? If you have time. I'll make time on Sunday, says Miss Chavis. And that's how we leave it. She will call my so-called uncle after school and let him know she's coming over to visit on Sunday. She's going to take me out for lunch and visit to the park. If nothing else, it'll let him know that someone is watching and that he won't get away with it. But the small measure of relief I feel is short-lived. Maybe I think he doesn't care if he gets away with it. Maybe if he's crazy, if he is, blah, blah, blah. Maybe I think he doesn't care if he gets away with it. If he is crazy or evil, maybe getting caught wouldn't bother him. If he gets caught after doing whatever he plans to do with me, that won't help much, will it? Sunday, that leaves all of tonight and all of tomorrow and tomorrow night. Sunday may be too late for me. I'm going to stop there. We only have 3 chapters left, so one more reading. Chapter 14 is called The Tool Shed. So let's see what Molly can steam up and plan to do. What do you think is going to happen?